So this is the correct level 3 writing, students. Level 3 of writing. So you must go through this answer what Mr. Tahir has written. Mr. Tahir, are you there in the class today?
Yes, I am.
Yes, Tahir, this is the standard of writing, this level. You understand, Mr. Tahir? That is using the information and using very directly to the current business situation. So you see his answers has a drunko, everything mixed. So students, that's the level 3 of communication, which I told you on the Saturday class. Okay, now students, let's come back to the discussion of the answer so that it will be very easy for you all to get the understanding and the application. So the first thing what I'm going to do is I'll start doing the discussion first. So students, if you observe this, 1 minute, someone has not switched off their mic. Okay. So students, mock number 4. So we have 2 mocks to be done. So I will be doing the analysis and I'll develop the answers and show it to you. So here, the first thing that you need to be very careful is they have asked us area. That area is very clear. Evaluate the payoff table in all possible scenarios based on the risk profile of each category of the shareholders in the company. So students, this is 60 marks question. So you need to identify the analysis based on the risk profile of the payoff table. So I'll write down the heading first so that we are not going outside the scope of the requirement. Evaluation of evaluation of payoff table based on the risk profile, based on the risk profile, based on the risk profile of the shareholders, risk profile of the shareholders, risk profile of the shareholders, risk profile of the shareholders. So students get the understanding. So one major issue that happened in the answer was, now if you see the risk profile of shareholders, there are 3 risk profile. One risk profile is known as the risk taker, or I can say aggressive people. They take the risk. Okay, the second category of the shareholders, one is risk aggressive shareholders, and then the other category is known as the risk neutral shareholders, risk neutral shareholders, and the final one is known as the risk averse shareholders. The risk averse shareholders are the fixed income earners. They are not bothered about taking risk. They are happy with whatever the things they are earning. But if you say risk neutral, if you see, they are in between these two. So students, these are the 3 categories of shareholders. So we need to get the understanding. So one major weakness in the answer was the 3 categories of the shareholders was not properly figured out. So remember that students, the 3 category of the shareholders has been not visible in most of the answers. So coming to the next one, evaluate the risk of the proposal. So specifically stating evaluate the risk of the proposal. So we need to identify what is the proposal. Okay, evaluate the risk of this proposal and explain how a risk committee can provide direction in a particular case. So evaluate. So it's only 40 marks, students. So I'll write down here 2 segments. So I think only Vishnu has developed that properly. Evaluation of the risk, evaluation of the risk of the proposal, okay. And then students, I'll write down here how risk committee can provide guidance, how risk committee can provide can provide what, students? Guidance, how risk committee can provide guidance. So that is the first area that we need to keep in mind. So students, just get the understanding. Payoff table, definitely it is there. And then we need to check the risk of the proposal. Now, as a student, I don't know what is the proposal. But as a student, only guess I can make is there is payoff table. And in the payoff table, if I don't know, example, let's assume I don't know payoff table, that's a 6 out, clean bowl. So students, that's what I'm taking the areas which you are generally like unpredictable. So payoff table, if you don't know, gone. Now, how the risk committee can provide guidance? Actually, you can manage based on your solution. Now, here students, they are specifically coming back. Taras has sent you the following mail. Amaduga Gallo has been on vacation. It's very clear. Therefore, we need to understand that you need to take over some of his functions because he's the senior finance manager. Please be kind enough to understand that as per the management decisions, we are planning to develop a smart alarm, which is similarly developed by YP Burn. Okay, smart alarm that was similarly developed by YP Burn. You need to understand that the company has understood that if we don't update ourselves into more digital products, we may be out of the business in the long run. In the new alarm system, we have made some additions, such as alarm could monitor if there is any shortage in the wires or any electrical issues and can provide any indicator support. So can I write down one risk of this proposal? I'm taking from this lack of sensor functionality. Now that is the question here. Now you are saying that you are making some additional features. Now wire shortage, everything. So there can be a situation where the company product is not giving the proper sensors. So what happens is, students, in that case there can be a fire, but the sensor won't say. So that is a problem that we have. If a house is already has a smart system, we need to understand the speaker would provide voice notification on the maintenance. So another thing I can write down here is lack of connectivity. Lack of connectivity. There can be a situation of lack of connectivity between what, students? Between speaker and the alarm. Can that also happen, students? Just asking. Because here it's not our own product. We are just doing a modification and developing. Now, if you see most of the Chinese products, the problem is they have face recognition compared with Apple. But the problem is it's not almost giving the correct outcome. So be very careful. So I just want to ask a question from the students. This is one technique you need to develop in the exam hall, where you need to find out the proposal's features and you need to think on the negative side of that if this not work. Now, the problem what happened with many students is you are writing solutions which are not specific to the current issue. So just remember that. So provide notification. The research and development team has done some basic modification of the product, and we are currently thinking on how we can develop the manufacturing and the production units. Therefore, the management accounting team has provided a payoff table. Please be kind enough to refer attachment 1, that is reference material. Further, please be kind enough to understand that this is the second time we are developing a similar product to YP1. Okay, and the shareholders are really annoyed with the history, and they have clearly mentioned we need to have a risk committee established since we are listed company. Okay, so we have two things, but just get the understanding here, students, that we are moving on to a smart alarm system, which is a benchmarking strategy what we are taking from our major player YP1. Now coming here, students, the research and develop team has done the following analysis of the smart alarm. Hi, for simplicity purpose, we have done only the briefing. So selling price, variable cost, and their contribution 100. So students, basically speaking here, they have done the payoff table as very well. So 100 is the contribution, students. So 500. So if you observe here, students, 100 is the contribution. So just remember one thing now, if you see 500, okay, students, this 500 is the, I can say, production. So if you have produced 500 and if you are selling 500, 500 into 500, that 500 into 100, sorry, 500 into 100, that will give you 50,000. That's the analysis here. So if you see 1,000 into 1,000, it's giving you 100,000. 2,000 into 2,000, it is giving you 200,000. And students, if you clearly observe and see this 150, how it comes is very clear. Now students, when you sell 500 units, okay, when you sell 500 units, observe it very carefully. 500 units when you sell, okay, directly to the market, you are making a contribution of 100. That means above the cost, you are earning another 100. So it's a positive cash balance of 50,000. That is, everyone is very clear with that. But students, if you observe one thing, if you manufacture another 500, that is 500 plus 500 is 1000. So if you have another 500 units, students, if you have another 500 units, if it is not going for sale, what happens is it is held at cost. So the cost is 400. The cost is how much, students? The cost is 400 for your understanding. The cost is 400 for your understanding. So 500 into 400. So that will effectively give you an answer of, I can say, very simple. It will be 200,000. So 200,000 will be a negative balance. And of that 200,000, you would have already recovered 50,000. So what's going to happen is the balance is 150,000. So students, this is how the payoff table is generally constructed for your basic understanding. So students, now let's come to the analysis part. So here, if you generally see students, 500 monthly production, 1000 monthly production, 2000 monthly production. Now the question mark arises is, students, what range you are going to produce, and you need to target the risk aggressive, risk neutral, and risk averse. So these are the three categories of shareholders that we have. So I want to ask the question from the students. So Ansro, if you don't mind, can you take the moderation? Ansro, are you there?
Yes, sir.
So Ansro, now if you see, if there are 2000 production, the person who takes the risk, he will be targeting to sell all the 2000. You get what I'm saying, Ansro? If
Yes, sir.
they produce 2000, they will be almost trying to sell everything of 2000. So here, this is just a ideology only. Now, in this perspective, the problem we have is we need to little think about the business ecosystem. Now, if you see the business ecosystem, already YPE Burn has established this product. So do you think we will be able to sell all what we manufacture?
No,
Competing
sir.
with YPE? I think we will not be able. And students, again, if you say smart alarms, definitely there may be other competitors also. So students, the challenge we have is how are we going to sell all these 2000? But the good thing is, if we target our consumer base properly, and if we sell it very, very well, that is also a correct element. So it has the good side and the bad side as well. Together, we need to be able to connect it as well. So students, now I will go with the risk taker. So the risk taker will always want the highest money. The risk taker will always focus on the highest return. He is not at all bothered about anything. He is only bothered about this 200. I want this 200,000. That will be his point of view. And he's not bothered about the probability, anything. He is just focusing on this 200,000. So I'll write down here, risk taker category of the shareholders will generally target to achieve how much? $200,000, correct? Where
Yes, sir.
it is the optimum. It is the optimum. It is the optimum. This is too optimistic. This is too optimistic as per the Westland market. As per the Westland market. As per the Westland market. Since we don't have a first mover advantage. We don't have what mover advantage? First mover advantage. First mover advantage. And this is possible, this is possible, this is possible, this is possible by having product bundling. By having what, students? Product bundling. Can we have a product bundling with heating, lighting, controllers? Can we also give this product with them and also the speaker with them? Then you can slowly push the product fully. Is that fine answer? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Product bundling further, we can also pursue the penetration strategy. Now see, students, I am connecting it, but it may affect the luxury brand. It may affect the luxury luxury brand value of Frinta. That is the main problem there, students. It will definitely affect the luxury brand value. No, that all we can discuss. It depends whether you can get the 100% contribution. It depends on the price what you quote. So coming to the next one, answer, shall we continue? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Therefore, this strategy can be challenging, considering the business ecosystem, considering the business ecosystem, since YP burn has a good reputation till date. But we can achieve in case if we introduce a budget version of only alarm for one door, only alarm for one door. Are you clear with that, students? Yes or no? So this is how you should be able to connect it. And students, if you see here, this is almost a level 3 answer. Are you understanding, students? Students, now see, the way I connected this is very much justified. It's very much justified to the business. So any questions, students, you have, you can ask me. On the Saturday class, I did about a very important topic, that is the marking scheme. Again, I will be reminding you of that. The examiner's brain is systemized level 1, level 2, level 3. He will read your answer, he will classify the level and give the marks. That's it. So I want to ask a question, students. If you are fine with this explanation, can I please get a Y in the chat box, students? Students, again, just to manage the time, I will develop little short answers today. I want you to get the understanding of the questions very carefully, students. Understanding of the questions carefully. So risk neutral shareholders. So I can generally say they are the majority. Correct? No, if I'm not mistaken, majority in a company, because generally they are the majority in a company. In Frinta, we don't have sufficient data. We don't have sufficient data. So we can assume these people, these shareholders, sorry, these shareholders are the highest number. These shareholders are what? Highest number. Therefore, they will always choose the highest expected value. So in this case, students, the highest expected value is a problem. 500, it's 50,000. 1,000 also, it's 50,000. So in this case, these guys will go again for 500. So I'll write down here. In this situation, they will request for 500 units. They'll request for 500 units. I'll tell you why. Because if they request for 1,000 units, there is a possibility of what? A loss. Okay, so in here, the expected value, the risk neutral, and even if you say the risk averse, they are going together in the conclusion, because both will propose the 500 units only, practically speaking. So I'll write down here the challenge is the expected probabilities are not real. The expected probabilities are not real. And considering the tech sector, new technology can emerge and disrupt. New technology can emerge and disrupt the business process, and resulting a less income. But on the other hand, this is very much convincing to the shareholders. convincing to the shareholders, since they can easily prepare themselves, easily prepare themselves. Okay, so this is the basic idea here. So any questions you have, you can ask me, students. But if you are fine with this, can I please get a Y in the chat box? Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So the next thing is risk averse shareholders. So I'll write down here on the risk averse shareholders. So I'll write down here, they generally prefer the least risk, and they will opt for, I can say, 500 units of production. 500 units of production. Therefore, they can assure themselves, that they will have a guaranteed fixed income. They will have a guaranteed, what, students? Fixed income, guaranteed fixed income. But again, they need to be well aware, that they don't have any patents. They don't have what? Any patents or license. So during the growth stage, there can be extra frugal products coming in the market. Use the language, extra frugal products coming in the market. Now, it is very much high level language, extra frugal products coming to the market and affecting the sales. Full stop. Now, one thing I just want to say, this is my point of view, just to have the understanding. Since the majority are seeking less risk, I believe that the company will initially go ahead with 500 units. Answer, is it clear for you? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So students, if you see this answer, what we have just developed, we are not wasting time on anything, but remember risk profile. These are the three types of shareholders in any business, students. So there will be risk-taking shareholders, especially American businesses. Elon Musk is a risk taker. So if you see generally in the Asian sector, mostly people are risk averse. They build houses and give for rent, so that what happened, fixed income they will be getting, guaranteed sure. So risk neutral are the people who just invest in the stocks to get some amount, and they also don't prefer going for high level of risk. So students, before going forward, any questions you have, you can ask me, students. If you are fine with the students, you can please put Y in the chat box. Thank you very much. Now students, evaluation of the risk. Now if you see the evaluation of the risk, what I can say is lack of sensor functionality. Because when you are getting a case study, students, always try to provide the specific risk. Don't try to write down the answers from the book. Try to think properly for that particular situation, what should be the right answer. So I'll write down here, sensors are fundamentally important. The challenge that we may face is that there can be a wire shortage or a small fire where the sensors would not detect due to technical issues. Therefore, we need to understand that the company should be able to have a strong, I can say, quality checkups before promoting the product to the market. Just get that point. Further, please make sure that regular feedbacks are taken and the consumer is aware about the maintenance of the product. That is one classical risk, but I'm not connecting anything outside the scope, students. I'm just taking it directly from here. So this is one major thing I can say. So I'll write down here, Asma should make sure that we have strong quality inspection in the process. So I'm just connecting their names as well, because students for level 3, they are telling you it should be detailedly connected. Lack of connectivity between the speaker and the alarm. There can be poor Wi-Fi network or poor connectivity between the alarm and the speaker. Therefore, there can be a situation where the smart speaker does not respond or provide any notification, where the owners ignore and which causes a major, I can say, a major threat to the house. That is one major factor that we need to consider. This will definitely affect the smart speaker brand 2. Smart speaker brand 2. That is Frinta friend. Stop. Students, just the idea only I am giving here. So this one I could have increased it, but I am just giving you the idea. So students, this is how the evaluation of the risk, you need to be careful, because be very careful. You should be make sure that you are connecting it to the actual situation. Now, the next thing, before I move forward, any questions you have, you can ask me, students. If that is fine for you, can you please put Y in the chat box, students? Students, if it is fine for you, can you please put Y in the chat box? Thank you very much. How risk committee can provide guidance? Now, students, if you see how risk committee can give guidance is experience of the industry. Now, if you see, students, why very successful organization have a risk committee is they have taken very experienced seniors into their body. So what generally happens is they generally provide guidance to the management who is currently operating. Example, if you see Bill Gates is a non-executive director, we can say. So he may give guidance based on his experience, what to do and what not to do. And the management can observe his thoughts and take a decision. Now, students, if you see, one major mistake our company did was when the founder sold the shares and completely went out, we did not call him back to take over the non-executive position. I still say that if our founder has been taken back as a non-executive director, we would have been even better than currently what we are in. Because students at the moment, there is no one to provide us guidance. Because if you see, when our non-executive director was there, the founder was there, we were able to invent a lot of products. We were able to patent a lot of products. But now, when we are managing, most of our product is not at all patented. It's just a replication that is done by YP Burn. In case YP Burn has patented their product, there can be a legal case coming towards us. They may ask us, why are we having a problem with YP Burn? Because it's their own patents. So get the point of view properly, students. So experience of the industry matters. So students, I'll write down here the NEDs, that is an acceptance term, that is non-executive directors. Non-executive directors generally ends up making decisions for the entity by providing their past experiences. At present, in case if we have a risk committee, they can provide guidance on the product launch and also help the management on positioning the product wisely positioning the product wisely rather than just benchmarking. Students, benchmarking is just copying, okay, just benchmarking from YP Burn. This can increase the competitive advantage. In the long run. Now, students, if you see United States of America, they have Federal Reserve, because if you generally see, their parliament is controlled by the Federal Reserve, because Federal Reserve have very educated, very senior people who don't come into the real picture. They guide the parliament what you need to do, what you need not do. If you see the developing nations, they don't have any seniors above the parliamentarians. If the president will be the senior, he makes the decision, but there will be no one to help the president, because there needs to be some every senior person to guide them to run the business. So the one thing is experience of the industry plays a major role, because we can easily find people who have been retired from the smart technical business, and we can get the guidance. So one thing they can give is they can give the experience of the industry, and the second thing they can give for this particular situation, students, is I can specifically say risk mitigation through internal controls. Now, students, I want to ask a question. Astro, do we have internal audit at the moment in our organization? At Frinta, do we
No,
have? No, right?
no, sir, I don't think so.
But are we a quoted enterprise? Yes or no? We are
Yes, sir.
quoted enterprise. So a quoted enterprise is 100% sure that they should have what? Internal audit. Now, if they are not having internal audit, students, just keep in mind just keep in mind there will be a situation of internal control issues. So I'll write down here internal control issues. Internal control issues will be a big challenge, since we have a tech factory for smart devices. Since the process is new, there can be situations where the factory workers are not aware of what they are doing, Therefore, we need to understand that the risk committee will be able to provide independent opinion based on the internal audit reports, and there can be high level of control. That is the understanding. So any questions, students, you have, you can ask me, but this is the basic idea. So any questions you can ask me, students. So this is the basic idea of this question. So any questions, students, you can ask, but just remember one thing, the length can be little more, but the thing is, more than the length, students, your scope of the points should be within the current situation. That is very, very important. So if you're fine with this, students, can I please get a Y in the chat box so that I will be able to do the next question as well. Thank you, students. Thank you very much. One minute. In the question, it is said, in this particular case, is that referring to the, not the case study, that is, this is the unseen. You are a finance manager, so you should be very careful for that. Okay, now coming to the mock number 5, students. Evaluate the process of developing a strong customer database strategy for Frinta. Okay, so I will just write down here the first heading so that it is very clear for you. So just a minute, students. Evaluate the process of developing strong customer database strategy for Frinta. And secondly, they are saying, using Gartner data analytics, please be kind enough to evaluate the performance of YP Burn Smart Alarm segment and how can we use it for Frinta. So these are the two things. One is the process of developing a strong customer database, and Gartner's data analytics you need to use to evaluate the performance. So I'll write down here, developing a strong customer database. Again, students, remember very carefully, you should be specific to the situation. And then, students, evaluation of YP Burns smart alarm performance. Smart alarm, what, students? Smart alarm performance using Gartner model. Using what model? Gartner model. So if you observe here, I will just put an underline, and here also what I will do is I will again put a underline term. So students get the understanding properly. These two are our major focus. Okay, so thank you very much for evaluating the smart alarm project during my absence. I'm really grateful for the service. As you know that our company has transformed to smart products manufacturing recently, we have a big challenge to guide the management from finance team perspective, since we have excess level of data. Example, we have been providing lots of information to customers on heating and ventilator controllers. Therefore, with our financial data, we can able to track them. But as per the question raised by the finance officer, how can we connect to the consumers, since we generally deal directly with the wholesalers, construction builders, and we don't have much direct contact? Now, that is a great question. This is the turning point of the situation. Now, we know in the past, we did not have consumer contact. We had business contact. What we do, we sell the products to the business. Agree, no, students? But in this, they are specifically stating, very clearly they are stating that we are directly going to connect to the consumer. So how are we going to get consumer data? Because if you see, students, smart products are generally taken directly to the consumer. But heating and ventilator control, it goes from a business to the consumer. So that is the challenge. So therefore, I have requested a suggestion. So we have understood that the company has given them warranty package. Now, students, if you see, there is warranty package in every product you buy, in which it is compulsory to have details of the customer rather than the wholesaler. Therefore, as per the past record, I was able to collect the data from various financial record, which was mostly in manual ledgers, and some has been in automated manner. Therefore, we need to develop a strong customer database at the moment. So, Ansfro, are we going to develop customer database using apps or using warranty cards?
Warranty cards, sir.
So some students are writing apps everything. So that's a wrong scope. So here, listen for the question carefully. When you are reading, listen. When you are reading, you listen for what you are reading. Very clear that they don't want a current database strategy. They want to build a strong customer base data based on their history. So using manual ledgers, everything they want to track that. Because if you remember, their main objective was to make their consumers be with them. That means whoever buys heating and ventilator should have a smart speaker with them so that they can manage their heating and ventilator control. If they did not develop that, a smart speaker, what happens is YP burn will be compatible. And if YP burn is compatible and if they control by their voices, there can be a situation that new players where YP burn is also compatible with other heating and lighting controllers. So our company may be outside the market. So here we are going to do the data management strategy based on the details here. So students just get the understanding that is very clear. So what I'm going to say further, please be kind enough to understand that YP Burn has published its annual financial statement where the segmental information of the smart alarm segment has been published too. Please be kind enough to refer the reference materials and the statistics. So here you find the statistical data of YP Burn smart alarm. This we can do it later, but developing a customer base data is not from the current. Don't think to the real situation. Look at the question situation carefully, because the question situation is very, very important. So here we are going to develop a customer database using the internal data. We are not going for the external data at the moment. We are going to develop it using our past record. So I will write down here, since we are going to arrange, we are planning 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 to arrange the data based on data based on guarantee cards. Correct, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it is based on the guarantee cards, sorry, warranty cards, based on the warranty cards, based on the warranty cards. Therefore, we need to follow the following. We need to follow the following. Okay, so the first thing is very simple, collect. Now the problem we have is Ansfro. We have manual ledgers plus also we may have some in our digital, I can say, softwares as well. What do you think, Ansfro? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
since the company listed in 1990, there can be manual ledgers. There can be manual ledgers which needs to be extracted, and compiled and compiled and compiled. Further, there can be information in the company intranet, that is the basic accounting systems. These datas needs to be organized and maintained. There can be challenges where the old datas would have been destroyed. Can there be chances old data being destroyed and yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Mainly due to IPO. But in case if we can get the data, it will be valuable. That is very much important. So get that understanding very clearly. After the collecting, what we need to do is we need to clean. After collection, what we need to do, we need to clean. So I can say here, the guarantee card, sorry, please excuse me, the warranty card may have so many details. We need to clean and get the contact informations, especially the address, the mobile numbers, and emails of the clients, and based on which we can identify the market loyalty we have till date. So coming to the next one, after clean, the next thing is connect. What is the next thing, students? Connect. We need to clean the data and we need to connect it. Once the information is available, we can connect using emails, letters, and telephone calls, or we can provide free service to houses where they have the heating controllers for more than 10 years, and provide them the updated version. Okay, and the final one is transform. That is, after you connect, we need to transform. Once we are able to connect, we should do the best to sell the other products, such as smart speakers, smart alarms, what, students? Smart alarms, so that we can sustain the existing customer base, existing customer base, existing customer base. So students, are you clear with this? Collect, clean, connect, and transform. So this is how at this moment we need to do, because this is a process. You get the point there, students. No need to, and the answer what many students gave was other way around. It went to the next way, that is collecting data at present. No, we are going to collect data of our heating and ventilators people. So that was the mistake that happened, students. So when you see the requirement here, be very careful, students. When you see the requirement, please be very careful that you should not generally write that. You should also think what's the next thing you need to do. So students, before moving forward, any questions you have, you can ask me. But I just did it in a summarized manner, just to manage two questions at the same time. Any questions you have, you can ask me, students. If you're fine with that, we can go to the Gartner's model as well. Okay, thank you, students. Thank you. So Gartner's model all has done very well. I need to really appreciate it. So Gartner's model was not an issue at all. So I'll just give you Gartner's model as a basic idea. First of all, it is descriptive data. We say descriptive data. Descriptive data means what happened, what happened, what happened. And then students, after descriptive, there is something called diagnostic data. Diagnostic data. So descriptive is what happened. Diagnostic data is why it happened. Why it happened. Why it happened. After diagnostic data, we have the predictive data. What will happen? Predictive data is what will happen. Predictive data is what will happen. What will happen. Okay. And the final one is known as the prescriptive data. Prescriptive data. What is the final one? It is the prescriptive data. Prescriptive data means what actions we can take. What actions we can take. What action we can take. So students, revenue growth is 25% of the smart alarm. So I'll write down here just for your idea. So revenue growth, I'll mention here revenue growth. So revenue growth specifically, it is 25%. So as usual, all the students are aware that we generally write what has happened. So I will just write it for you. Revenue has increased by 25%. This is especially for the smart alarm of YP burn. So this is mainly because they have the first mover advantage. The first mover advantage. And the word of mouth feedbacks are reaching out. Word of mouth feedback, because if you see feedbacks are reaching out in the form of consumer review, in the form of consumer review. Because did you see consumer review, students? Consumer reviews in the form of consumer reviews. Get that understanding properly, students. In the form of consumer review. Okay, revenue has increased by 25% because consumer reviews. Now that the first sentence descriptive and why it has happened this, there can be even more growth in the upcoming years. Do you think possible? Yes or no? More growth in upcoming year. Answer, what do you think? Yes or no? Because no one is
Yes, sir.
complaining, right? Upcoming years. So as this happens, what actions we can take as Frinta? We need to make sure we don't compromise on quality. We don't compromise on quality and performances since at initial stage the consumers prefer the value of the product value of the product performance. Now when we are introducing Frinta alarm, we should never ever make a mistake on the quality and the performance. In case if it is going down, then we can produce a product like what we like. That is the understanding. Any questions, students, you have, you can ask me. But if it is fine for you, can I please get a Y in the chat box, students? The revenue growth, because this is how I have articulated the answers so that it gives you the application very clearly, students. So this is how that is done. After the revenue growth, the next one is the gross profit margin. So this is how, students, because if you see, data is very important. You can psychology also in future data, because we can observe human behavior, right? What has happened? He got angry. Why did he get angry? How, okay, what will happen if he get angry, and how we can prevent that? That's how the psychology works out. So coming to the next one, gross profit. From 50, it has gone to how much? From 50, it has gone to how much? 40%. So the problem 50 to 40% is, do you believe, Ansro, there can be sales discount? What do you think, Ansro? Yes or no? Because
Yes,
because
sir.
in the growth stage, after the introduction, what happens is there can be sales discount they would have given, commissions they would have given to the retailers, and for example, for the reviews, everything they can give that. So I'll write down here the gross profit margin. The gross profit margin. The gross profit margin has fallen by 10%. That we can clearly observe. This is mainly because the company would have provided sales discount and would have provided more allowance to the retailers, so that the product reaches the consumer. Okay, so that is the main objective here. So the problem we have, answer, is as Frinta, we need to understand the sales channels. What do you think? Yes or no? The sales channel
Yes, sir.
and how to integrate for smart products, and how to integrate for smart products. That is the point of view. After that, students, I will do the operating profit margin also, so that it will be more clear for you. So I'll write down here operating profit margin. So students, if you see the operating profit margin, it's not so complicated. I'll just make it out for you. Operating profit margin has increased. Did you observe that? Yes or no? It has increased by
Yes, sir.
4%. Why I can say is automations. Can there be automations, Ansro? Because if
Yes,
you
sir.
see, nowadays we are living in 2021. So 2021, every business, what they do, they try to automate. When the work is predictable, they automate it. Like our alarm. Now we have our alarms that is automated in our mobile phone. So I'll write down here, the operating profit margin has improved. The operating profit margin has improved. This can be mainly because of automations, where they have already understood the data, and they have processed information. Are you clear with that answer? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Therefore, we need to understand that our factories can adapt this strategy for heating and ventilator controllers as well. Correct? No, answer, because we do not have automations in our factory. Did you observe that, answer? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
However, we need to have proper change management plan. Proper change management plan. Proper change management plan. Okay, now the next thing, students, is profit for the year. Profit for the year. Profit for the year. It has also slightly increased. Okay, so profit for the year, I'll just write down. There is an improvement. This may be mainly due to service efficiency. Mainly due to service efficiency. Therefore, this is a result. This is a result of higher level of learning curve factors that would have contributed stop. I'm just summarizing that, and the last one, P ratio, has become 10, so I'll write down PE ratio, price earnings ratio. The price earnings ratio has increased. The price earnings ratio has increased. This clearly indicates that YP burn has established themselves as an innovative business, where the market has high confidence. I can write down here, Frinta has experienced this during the span of IPO, where we were dominating the heating and ventilator controllers. So students, any questions you have, you can ask me. So this mock was good. Frankly speaking, students who did this very good, because at the end of the day, you should get experience. It's experiential learning, students. And I'm very strict this time with the case study because it's very tough case study. I can observe that, even you can observe that. Not easy to connect to the brain. So you should do it and learn, and don't take the risk of reading all the theory and coming back. No, it won't work out, students. Manage it with the skills and improve. So students, any questions you have, you can ask me. Please, any questions you have, you can ask me. If you're fine with that, you can put Y in the chat box, students. I will be sharing you the other mocks, that is the mock number 6 and 7 today. And also, students, on Thursday night, I will give you 3 mocks. That is until, so we will revise technical knowledge every day, or which strategy we will follow. We'll follow the practical strategy, the level 1, level 2, level 3. Because if you study all the technical element, you can't go for level 3. Level 3 strategy is important, which will give you the highest marks in the examination. Because just reading and writing will not work out, students. Level 3 application is very crucial here. So students, any questions you have, please do let me know. So if you are fine with this, just remember to go through the marking scheme, which is very, very, very essential. Very, very, very essential. So I believe everything is fine. Answer, is everything okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So students, we will meet up therefore on the Thursday class. So good luck with the other 2 mock exam. Thank you very much, students.
Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hello.
Yes.
Sorry, Nalim sir. I have one question. Obviously, in the main exam, we'll have like 4 questions, right? So
Yes.
do you have to like score pass mark on each question, or like it will be like total?
Total.